Oh my God, come on. All right, I'm having some internet troubles here, but hopefully I'll have this going properly in a second. Okay. Got 2 people watching. All right. It's cold here in LA today, and it's raining a lot. So, hanging out in the workshop, working on the Biden teeth robot, which I've got right here. I'm gonna work on electronics for it, and maybe I'm gonna work on finishing this wood here. So what I'm doing here today is adding some crunching sounds to this thing, because why not? If you're gonna have teeth biting, they should be crunching. So I'm gonna put an Arduino on here, an Arduino Nano with an audio sample of some crunching sounds that I got from Ted Yapo. The sounds are actually his dog crunching some potato chips. Oh, yeah. Just out here in my workshop. Some soldering, do some woodworking. I don't know what else. The Arduino, should I use the classic board, the brown stuff with the little grid and the coordinates? Should I use the new stuff that's green? They each have their charms. This one's a little smaller and more compact. This one looks a little neater, maybe? I don't know. Chime in the comments if you have a preference. No, I think what we're doing is that I have a bad internet connection out here in my garage because I'm like 50 feet away from my wireless router. So the internet is not the great here. You know, I should check and make sure that the Arduino fits this before I go soldering it. The width might be wrong. I hadn't even bothered to check that. So I better check that. And if the quality is really bad, please let me know, and I'll just scuttle this thing, because I don't want to make everyone watch me. Oh, I didn't disconnect my battery. Where is my battery? It's over there. If the video quality of this is really bad, because I don't really want to make everyone watch a really poor quality video, and I know that the router extender things. The cat is Actually, he was up in the rafters and he's coming down the ladder. You can see him right there. He's into those rafters. All right, is this going to fit? It actually looks like Arduino is going to fit. So that's good news. The funny thing about the cat in the rafters is that he gets really aggressive when he's up high. I don't know what that's all about. It doesn't matter if he's like on the roof of my car, he's up on the roof of the house, or he's up in the rafters. He gets really aggressive. And I don't know if it's that he like feels like he's extra big up there, or if that's his territory up there. But if he's on the roof and I happen to go on the roof, like he gets mad. And as I'm climbing up the ladder, he'll start growling at me. And earlier I was looking for something up in the rafters, and he was up there, and he was doing his little growly thing. He doesn't want me up there. Okay. I think I'm going to go with the green perf board just because it's a little bit more compact. So I suppose I'll just go ahead and solder that up now. I don't really know what his deal is when he's high up in the air. He feels extra tough, or he feels extra aggressive or something. I'll mess with him when he's up on the roof or in the rafters. That's his territory, I guess. But it's kind of stopped raining for now, so it looks like he's going outside. So, normally I don't bother with sockets when I do like these embedded Arduino projects. It's like an Arduino Nano knockoff is so cheap. They're like $4 a piece when you buy 3 of them off of Amazon, and probably even cheaper if you buy them off of eBay. But this happens to be my last one, and I'll order more. But I kind of want the option of taking it out of the socket in case I need it for something. Just in case. So I'm using a socket. All right, cool. As long as you can see what's up. So I hope all of my US viewers are enjoying their Thanksgivings. 3 of my family members work in hospitals, so they don't get holidays off like everyone else does. They usually get, like the hospital does a thing where you get a holiday off one year and then you have to work it the next year. So if you had Thanksgiving off in 2018, then you have to work it in 2019. And my brother and mom are both working today. So my family decided to postpone Thanksgiving until Saturday, which is, it is what it is. It's fine. Today would have been a nice day to celebrate Thanksgiving because usually here in LA, it's like 80 degrees on Thanksgiving, and it's not particularly conducive to feeling festive, like in the sense of wanting to eat like a big harvest feast. You can't eat a whole bunch of meat like that and mashed potatoes and everything when it's so hot out. But it's really cold today, and it's really rainy, so today would have been a nice day to have Thanksgiving, but we'll do it Saturday, and it's going to be raining Saturday, but it'll still be chilly Saturday at least. But that means I have the day today to do whatever I want. And it's everything's going to be closed basically. Not everything. Most things are going to be closed because of the holidays. And that's becoming less of a thing. More and more retailers want to be open on Thanksgiving to get a jump on Christmas sales. Yes, it's actually raining quite a bit in LA today. For once, it's nice. We've this is I think it started raining like a day and a half ago, and it's going to rain through tomorrow. For once, we're having a nice storm on Thanksgiving. But yeah, most things are closed today, and it's raining, so I don't have anything else to do. So I'm going to just hang out here in the garage and kind of freeze my ass off. All right, Arduino's on there. What now? Oh God, I forgot. I broke my wire snippers the other day, and this sucks. I need to order some new ones. See, they're missing jaws, so I got to use these ones instead. Wait, which Bristol? Bristol in the UK or Bristol? I think there's a Bristol in Connecticut, I think. I don't know which Bristol. I don't even know if there's a Bristol in Connecticut, so I might be getting that completely wrong. Oh, okay, Bristol, UK. Yeah, but doesn't it rain like all the time in the UK? It's pretty atypical for it to be raining here in LA, especially in, I don't know, the past 10 years. When I was a kid, it used to be pretty typical to at least get rain during the fall and then into part of the winter. But these days, it feels kind of like summer for most of fall and winter. So I was pretty excited when I saw that it was going to be raining for the holiday. Yeah. Don't get me talking about the rain because I will probably talk about the rain too much. What next? All right. So let me look at this thing here. So I'm just transferring everything from my breadboard onto this guy. And I have a pull-up resistor because I'm going to have a switch. And I think I had put that on digital output 4. But I need to do something first here. So I don't know about all you guys, but I really like that breadboards have these rails. You know, you can have your and Perfboard never has that. It just has perforations. So I usually like to make my own rail, and I think I'm going to do that because I don't think it's going to be super necessary in this project, but sometimes in other projects, like if I have, I don't know, 5 potentiometers hooked onto onto an Arduino, then and they all need to be connected to +5 and ground, and you're trying to connect them all to the same pin on the Arduino. It's kind of annoying. Let's see, raining in Sweden and cold. That sounds nice, honestly. I know people are always like, oh, you'd hate it if you lived in blah, blah, blah. It snows so much here. And it's probably true. I probably would get tired of the snow pretty quick. But when you grow up somewhere where there is no snow, it feels kind of magical for there to actually be snow. Some of the people that live in the desert here, there's a city, Lancaster, and snowing in Lancaster. And they were very excited today because we just don't get snow here like that. So yeah, I know it's probably grass is greener on the other side thing. But gosh, I wish it would snow here at least like a couple times a year. Do I ever etch my own boards? I think the last time I etched a board was like in high school, and I used one of those little kits you could get from, I think it was Radio Shack. You get these little kits that had the boards, like the unetched and the ferric chloride, and it was basically like a Sharpie. It could have actually been a Sharpie for all I know. It was some kind of a black like marker that you would draw your traces with, and it kind of worked. But I have not etched my own board really since then. Because I usually don't make, like my projects are all one-offs, so I usually don't make enough of them for it to be worth making a whole board. I usually just find it most time effective to make one on perf board. It's not to say that like I would never do it. I just haven't really found that I've needed it. I do have a project in mind. I was planning on building a synthesizer out of this Texas Instruments complex sound generator chip. And a friend of mine has like 4 of those chips. And so I was thinking, well, if I'm building a synthesizer out of one of these, and he kind of wants to build one, maybe I should like send off to Osh Park or something and get some boards made. But I still don't think I would etch my own boards. Dalo pen. Interesting. Yeah, the marker that came in that Radio Shack kit was not, like the ink was not particularly durable. Oh, I broke my thumbnail. Like it would do an okay job. And I know somewhere here in all my junk, I have the remnants of one of those boards I tried to etch. Like it worked okay, but the ink would kind of peel up around the edges a little bit as the board was etching. So like your traces were usually a little bit rough. I also didn't know what I was doing at all with electronics back then. So sometimes I would like etch a board and then like my project wouldn't work and I wouldn't know why. And it was mostly because I like had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't know about overheating parts with your solder. And also I didn't have proper equipment. So I was using my dad's like soldering gun, one of like big gun things that like a Weller, like the really big ones that you have to like pull the trigger. And I was also using plumbing solder, which I have some of that sitting around here somewhere, like this kind of thick solder. So I think I mostly just like burned up all my components. And I also didn't know about flux. So none of my projects ever worked back then. And I got really frustrated because I thought I just sucked. And I guess I did, but it wasn't entirely my fault. I just didn't know any better. All right. So I have I stripped some wire and I stuck it through, and I'm going to make my ground rail and my +5 rail or whatever there. And I'm just going to do that by soldering it to the board, and I'll probably stick it to some of the perforations down the middle too, just so it kind of stays in place. Polish the board first, like as in use something to buff the copper. Is that what you mean by polish the board? Ah, yeah, that makes sense. I would imagine that if your board like is oxidized, then it's not going to etch as well, right? Like, I don't know. I could look up the chemistry for ferric chloride, but I'd imagine ferric chloride would act on copper oxides as well as it does. No, I'm not coming to Congress, though I want to. I don't have my passport, and I could probably try to rush a passport, but my passport is expired. And I also don't have plane tickets or anything else, and it would probably be expensive to buy a plane ticket at this point in time, this late with like the holiday coming up. So sadly, no, but I would like to try to come to Congress sometime, though I didn't even know it existed until you told me about it. So yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint. I am not staying cozy and warm. I mean, I'm trying to. I've got my warm clothes on, but it is freezing in my garage. Though freezing is relative. It was like 48 a little while ago, which is, I don't know what 48 is off the top of my head in Celsius. Maybe 10 Celsius? 15 Celsius? In any case, it's kind of cold, and I'm sitting on a metal chair, so my butt is especially cold. But my boots on, I got my sweatshirt on, I got my yoga pants on, I got my coffee that's rapidly getting cold. So it's all right. Dean, they're asking about the bike videos again. You're going to have to do a bike video one of these days. I mean, it is cold, but like compared to, I don't know, somewhere in New England or North Dakota or Sweden, it's probably not that cold. I mean, I have a friend from Wisconsin, and if it's like 50 degrees, she's in her shorts and t-shirt, right? She's pretty happy if it's anything above like 30. All right. There you go, 9C. Yeah, I had a handle on Celsius for a while because I spent a month in Argentina, and so I got to learn and figure out Celsius, but I've kind of forgotten it because I don't really ever use it here. But yeah, 6 degrees. 6 degrees sounds cold. If it's snowing, that sounds pretty nice. If it's 6 degrees and raining, that sounds terrible. So far south. You know, it gets cold here occasionally. We get storms that come down the coast from Alaska every now and then, and it gets cold. But it's not super common. All right. All right, yeah, 6 degrees and raining sounds unpleasant. 6 degrees and snowing sounds really good, but I don't even know. Snow would probably melt at 6 degrees, right? I don't know. I don't have any experience with snow. I've only been in the snow a handful of times. All right, so I have my my rails soldered on, and I'm gonna put my pull-up resistor on. But I accidentally filled in the hole I was going to put it in with solder. So I'm going to move it over just one. God, that's kind of sucks. All right, I'm going to move it over to another one because I don't want to try to, I guess I could suck the solder out, but. Well, water got to freeze for snow. Yes, I guess, yes. I guess I was thinking, you know, like in Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32. So I was thinking like, oh, well, 6 degrees is less than 40 Fahrenheit. So it's probably 32 Fahrenheit. But no, I'm just mixing up my temperature standards here, temperature scales. 3 degrees, 37 Fahrenheit. Oh, man. See, you all get to have very good weather for the holidays. I know that like there are people that come to California and they want to like experience Christmas in the like 80-degree heat. And like, that's cool, I guess, if you don't live here. But like, that gets boring. It's like always 80 degrees here or like hotter. Yeah, I'm kind of skinny, so I would probably be cold. And I haven't really, gosh, the last time I was in the snow was when I visited my cousins in Oregon, and it wasn't even snowing at their house. It was only snowing up in the mountains. And yeah, I get real cold because I'm tall and I'm skinny. I just have to wear warm clothes, right? Hawaii, same thing, always 80. Yeah, and I don't know, like a lot of people really like that tropical weather. I hate the tropics. Like, I don't understand why everyone likes the tropics. Like, they're pretty, they're really gorgeous, but like, it's always so humid and hot, and like, you just sweat all the time, and it sucks. Like, I don't like it. It's not near humid here in California, and I like the desert, honestly. I mean, I don't like how the desert looks. I think the desert, not all deserts. Like Sedona is nice, the Sonoran Desert is nice, but like the Mojave Desert is ugly. But the weather, at least when it's hot, it's dry, and so you sweat, and your sweat evaporates immediately. You don't end up getting all soaked in sweat. Trade winds help with the heat. Yeah, maybe it would be more. Maybe it would be more breezy in Hawaii. I went to the tropics in Australia, and it was kind of miserable. And even going to the south here in the U.S., which is not quite the tropics, but like kind of close. Oh, just terrible, terrible. It was like, I don't remember. It was like 99% humidity or something. Yeah, Mediterraneans. Los Angeles' climate is, in theory, Mediterranean. And I guess it still is, but it's kind of getting messed up by climate change. So we used to have pretty relatively dry summers, but now they're really humid. And you spend like all of August at like 100 degrees and like 40% humidity. And it's not particularly pleasant. Okay, I have my Arduino on, and I have my pull-up resistor on. What do I need to do now? I don't know. Maybe I feel like I should use, where's my other one? So I have two options for my amplifier here. I'm forgetting what I'm talking about. I can use, not that one. I can use this little guy or this guy. Don't mind that everything's attached to this one. I was using it for something else. But I think I want to use this little one because it's smaller and it goes down to 5 volts. It'll run off of 5 volts, whereas that bigger one needs 9 volts. The thing I don't like about these is that they never have any way to mount them. Neither of them has a way to mount them. There's no screw holes, and there's no place to drill a hole. And there's no place to put like a header, really. I mean, there's a little header here, and I guess I could like try to fit it in. No, I'm gonna put the switch on next. My garage is a complete disaster. My workbench is awful here. It's so bad. But at least, you know, I can't ever find anything when I'm looking for anything specific, but I can also just like reach my hand out and something will be there. And so like, here's some wires and these will be for the switch. But wait long enough. I better use some longer ones. Oh gosh. I think I have more wires. This should work. Ah, don't fall. So for those of you who had Thanksgiving today, I hope it's gone well. If you had something you were particularly thankful for this year, let me know. I'd be interested to hear. No, this wire is a little too thick. All right, so for a pull-up resistor, hang on, I need to look up how to set this. I always forget how to wire pull-up resistors on switches. Arduino, pull, all right. So it's going from there to there. Okay. Oh, you know what I should do is I should hook up my power and on rails. What I'm making is, so there's this thing. This is my biting teeth robot. And right now all it does is open and close the jaws, which is fine. But I want to add some sound effects. Basically, I want it to make crunching sounds. And so I'm going to have this Arduino play a little audio sample when the jaws close, make like a crunchy sound. So that's what I'm doing. And I had trouble when I was trying to do this a few months ago. I've been using the Mozzie library for Arduino for some things. And I didn't quite know how to make the sample thing work right. You have to use some Python scripts. You have to take your audio file. Where's ground? You have to take your audio file and then convert it into a raw file, and a headerless raw file, and then use this Python script written for Mozzie to convert it into like a wavetable. And I had a lot of trouble with that when I was trying to do that a few months ago, but I got it to work this time. So that was pretty nice. There's a lot of like parameters that you have to get right. Let's see, this does not need to be very long. You have to, just need like a clipped lead. You have to get like the sample rate right, and you have to is it not showing up in the subscription feed? Yeah, I don't know. It might be something with that COPPA thing. Pumpkin hour here. Gotta go. Catch you another time. All right, see you, Spencer. I don't know what the hell's going on with COPPA. I don't know what YouTube's doing with how they promote channels. I set my channel to say like not for children because it's not targeted at children. But then I don't know what that actually means as far as how they promote your channel and whatever. It's all a big black box. No one knows what's going on inside of YouTube's servers. They're probably just gonna eventually move away from small creators and just have big channels. So I should probably just move everything over to Diode Zone. If you guys are already on Diode Zone, but if not, you should check it out. Micah has a whole bunch of content on there. She has quite a few people uploading stuff, and she just runs it out of her home. And there's none of the weird advertising or data collection stuff that you deal with Google and YouTube. And only a smaller audience over there, but like she's doing, and Google is becoming increasingly evil and corporate. So it might be good to just migrate over there one of these days. I'm sure at some point there will come an alternative to YouTube that's like completely viable. I don't know if Diode Zone will be it. I'm sure she doesn't have the bandwidth or the server space for all of that. But the way YouTube is going, I'm sure that it's not going to be for small-time channels. All right, cool. Yeah, got James there. Blitz City DIY puts her stuff up there. So yeah, it's cool. All right, so that's my 5-volt rail. I'm going to connect my ground rail. I have like thousands of these little diodes. I don't know if someone gave them to me or what. And there are so many of them, just like loads and loads and loads of them. I'm never going to use them all. And I guess I could put them on a meter and check their values, but they're not sorted and they're not labeled or anything. So I kind of use a lot of them just as like for their leads, just clip the diode off and reuse the leads for things. So right now I'm using them to make jumpers to connect my rails here. And I filled more of the perforations here with solder right where I need my ground jumper to go. Ustream was cool until they ruined it. I never really used Ustream. We actually used Ustream at my last job a little bit. It was at a university, and we would stream some university events on it, but I never used it like in a personal way, like for my own stuff. All right, come on. But I never used it like in a personal way, like for my own stuff. All right, come on, go through there. Isn't that just the way of the world? Anything that is good, someone is going to ruin it eventually. Whatever eventually comes and takes YouTube's place will probably be great for a while, and then they'll ruin that too. It's just how it goes. It's part of the human condition, I guess. Save the LED lead codes. See, that's great. Like, I should just clip all these and then put them in a bin. Actually, what I should do is the guy who hosts our weekly hacker group, he hosts it in his shop. He has like a small business. He makes PC board etching machines, and he assembles all the circuit boards himself. And he has this massive pile of clipped leads underneath his workbench that he just sweeps them into the corner. And I should just scoop those up because he just throws them away. You know, I am really missing my flush cutters. Like, I should have ordered some as soon as I broke them, because I'm having to use my diagonal cutters now. And it's not that they don't work, but they're just not as elegant. All right, come on, you. All right, I think I have my ground rail and my 5-volt rail connected. Take a big magnet. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have a big magnet sitting somewhere. Yeah, right there. There's my 1-inch rare earth magnet cube. That's all like accumulated things. I bought this for a project. I had this idea to cast clear resin and mix iron filings into it. And like before the resin was totally cured, put a magnet near it so that the iron filings would conform to the magnetic field lines, and then the resin would harden and they would be trapped like that permanently. But I had a lot of problems with it. One, I need a pressure pot so I can deal with all the little bubbles. Because when you mix a bunch of little iron filings into resin, they bring a lot of little bubbles with them. So the resin was so full of bubbles that you couldn't see through it. And also my resin had started getting old by that point, so it had become very yellowed. So I'm gonna have to do that project again after I get a pressure pot. I haven't bought one just because I don't have that much room in this garage, and I don't really want a pressure pot sitting in here because they just take up room. But I'll get around to it one day, I guess. Yeah. Well, I need my multimeter. I'll be right back. I found the cat. He was inside. He's hanging out by the furnace where it's warm. Where is my... Somewhere here. There it is. All right. Let's see if I did this right. What are we doing? What am I doing? So, I don't know if you... What are we doing? What am I doing? So, I don't know if you saw on Twitter that I've been working on this biting jaw robot. Right now, all it does is the motor turns, and it turns this little crank that's attached to this gear, which turns this connecting rod, and the jaws open and close. And it's fine, but I want to add something a little more to it. And so I am adding sound effects, or rather a single sound effect. I am going to have this Arduino play a sample. The Mozzie library for Arduino is, it's not the most well-documented thing, but it's pretty cool. The guy who built it did a lot of good work, and it can play audio samples. Okay, we got 5 volts, well, 4.5. It can play audio samples. So I converted an audio recording of Ted Yoppo's dog. So Ted Yoppo, you can find him on Twitter. He recorded his dog eating some potato chips for me and sent me the crunching sounds. And so I took like one single crunch and converted it into a wavetable that can fit into the Arduino's memory. And so the Arduino is going to have a limit switch that's connected up to this mechanism here so that it'll, every time the jaws close, it will crunch, and the speaker will play the crunchy sounds. Thank you, Christian. I had a really good time giving that speech. I was super, super nervous. I had never given a talk at like a big public event before, so I was really nervous about it. But it went well. Like, I'm really happy with how it went. I'd probably do it again. Sound and light are always good. I agree. I was thinking about adding some lights to this thing, but I think that sound will be enough. What I haven't decided yet is, so I can configure this thing any way I want. And I'm playing around with trying to use the, like, have the limit switch be clicked by the little crank here, but I might have the limit switch be clicked by the jaw. I'm not really sure. We'll see. I have to figure that out. Okay. All right, what was I doing? Yes, I was wiring up my switch. So 5 volts. So it goes from 5 volts to the switch, and then from the switch to the pull-up resistor. Okay. That's easy enough. It is getting colder out. I guess the sun is just about down, so it's getting colder out now. Well, thank you, Stephen. I shared the video of the talk with my parents because, I don't know, because they like to be proud and everything. And my dad wrote back, he texted me, and he said, "Oh, that was pretty good, but you need to say less and like less." And I'm like, all right, thanks, Dad. I know I'm not the most articulate person always. So, yeah, thank you for your constructive criticism, but you can just shove it, Dad. Yes, cold and raining in California for once. And while it's cold, and I am cold, I'm pretty happy with the weather today. I'm happy I don't have to go anywhere. If I was having to travel, then I'd be probably in a bad mood because the freeways are always in terrible shape when it rains. Because people here don't know how to drive when it rains because we don't get rain very much. But I get to stay home, and I'm on my like 5th cup of coffee today, and now I've been putting whiskey in my coffee. So, yeah, I'm as cozy as I can possibly be while being out in the workshop. All right. This wire is too thick to fit through these perforations. Okay. No, I don't want to cut that. I need some other wires to use. Yeah, you know, Irish coffee. That's good. I don't know. It's probably not called Irish coffee anywhere outside of the U.S., but that's what they call it here. You get like the Irish cream stuff. That's like sweetened whiskey creamer, and That stuff's pretty good. It makes your coffee a lot better on a cold day. All right. So now is when my complete lack of organization really bites me in the butt. I know how to do beers Miller right now. Oh, man. Yeah, I went to the bar last night. They let us out of work early yesterday in advance of the holiday. And so I went to the bar and read a book and had a few beers, and it was nice. I wouldn't mind being at the bar right now, but the bar is not near my house, and I don't know if they're open. I try not to go places on Thanksgiving because I feel bad for the people that have to work, because I've had to work on Thanksgiving, and when you have to work retail on Thanksgiving, it sucks. Like, working service industry on holidays sucks. Like, it's not like working emergency services where it's like men has to be doing it, working because your boss wants to make more money and they don't want to give you the holiday off. That sucks. So I try not to go places, but I bet the bar is open because like bars are always open, right? All right. No, don't touch. Come on. All right, this wire sucks. All right, I need some different wire. This wire is not going to work. This wire has like very thin strands of it, so it's a lot harder than it once you strip it. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm gonna go look for some more wire. I should not be too long. Mixing whiskey and sodas. Oh yeah. Though I don't drink a lot of soda these days. I had a routine doctor's visit. I had a routine doctor's visit, and the doctor said, "Your blood sugar's a little high. I want you to cut back on your sugar consumption." And so I started cutting some things out of my diet, including soda. And my blood sugar's been fine, but now soda is just like too sweet for me. It just, when I do have soda, it's like, oh geez, like I'm not used to it anymore. And like you stop drinking soda and then you realize like how much sugar is in soda. So I rarely drink soda anymore. But yeah, like a Jack and Coke is a pretty good mix. All right. Yeah, that's better. So what I do have inside, like, so I have some ginger ale inside, and that's pretty good with whiskey too. I mean, it's probably better with vodka, but I've got bourbon, and so okay. There's one half of the switch wiring. There you go. That's right. You know, when I was younger, like I had a hard time drinking whiskey by itself. It just seemed too strong. But yeah, now like just put some whiskey on the rocks, and it's like that's pretty good. So I'm just stealing some wires from this connector I made for something else. I really ought to have spools of wire to use for projects, but I don't. I'm just always reusing wire from other projects or wire that I've found. Come on. Like this spool of tangled mess of red wire. I found this near a telephone junction box, a sidewalk. It looked like the telephone repairman was there working on the box, and he must have made his repairs and then left. And he just left some tangled up messes of wire. So home they came. Tequila and orange juice. Yeah, that's a good combination. You can make, if you have some grenadine, you can make what do you call it? Tequila sunrise. That's what it's called, right? Tequila sunrise. And a tequila sunrise is pretty good. Okay. All right. But this time of year, with this kind of weather, I like whiskey. Whiskey seems like a better cold weather drink than tequila. Tequila feels like a summer drink to me. Like I can't imagine putting tequila in my coffee. It might be fine. I don't know. It could be fine, but tequila in my coffee does not sound near as appetizing as putting whiskey in my coffee. All right, where is my limit switch? There you are. So Steven says he used to drink expensive whiskey with his dad. That sounds kind of nice. My dad, he's not a teetotaler, but he doesn't drink a lot, really. So I have not spent a lot of time drinking with my dad. He usually drinks he'll have like one beer and that's it. So, yeah. And when he does, the only time he really drinks a particularly large amount is when this one friend of his comes over and they always just drink tequila together. And I think my dad loosens up around that friend of his, but also that friend of his is just very good at peer pressure. So I think he gets my dad to drink more than he would otherwise. Okay, switch is on. I guess I can hook up what now? And my nose is running because it is cold out here now. Where? Yeah. So I'm going to repurpose. I have these wires with these nice like ends I crimped on them. So I'm going to repurpose these since this amplifier has this little header here. I'm just going to put a connector on so I can connect these without soldering them. Yeah, almost. I mean, there's probably some network TV shows that barely get more than 14 people watching. So for my non-American viewers, I'm curious, like Thanksgiving is our big like feast holiday for the year. Like people also eat on Christmas, but Thanksgiving definitely is like the day to eat a lot of food, like really have a feast. I'm curious, for all of you from elsewhere, like where you're from, what is the big feast holiday? I know Canadians have Thanksgiving. They have it on a different day, but I don't know if they're so big in eating a bunch. For folks from elsewhere, if you have like a big feasting holiday, what it is, and hi, Rue. I was just talking about some people just don't. I wish I were doped up on tryptophan today. There's really like nothing better than on a cold day like this, just having a huge meal and then just falling asleep on the couch or something. Turkey Day in England is Christmas. See, yeah, we have turkey on Thanksgiving and usually on Christmas, at least for my family, this beef roast. Though for family, like the Mexican side of the family, it was always tamales and like a big pork mole for Christmas. Yeah, we don't do Thanksgiving. We eat massive turkeys at Christmas. Okay. I didn't realize that people in other countries really had turkeys. Like I like a lot of people like turkey. They like talk about how dry it is, and I figured it was maybe like not particularly popular elsewhere. But it's interesting. Like it's like at least I know if I ever move to England, I would still be able to get a turkey sometimes. All right, so what do you eat? What kind of feast food do you have for midsummer in Sweden? Because we don't really have like summer feasts here. Like on 4th of July, you'll barbecue stuff, but that's not really a feast day. It's like having some hot dogs and some hamburgers, not like have a whole big spread. Same as the rest of the year. Potatoes, herring, and meatballs. That sounds good. I would like some potatoes and meatballs today. That sounds really nice, actually. Okay, so let's see, VCC. So that's 5 volts. So we'll put the VCC right there. You know, I don't think I've ever had like a big feast meal that included fish. Nor do I know if I've even had herring, to be honest. But I do like fish, so I'd probably be down for herring. Did I catch Maker's Hour? No, I did not catch Maker's Hour. I forget. Was that yesterday? Was it the day before? I catch it occasionally, but I did not catch it this time. Yeah, Thanksgiving is honestly one of my favorite holidays. Christmas is too commercialized, and there's too much pressure and too much focus on gifts. and shopping. Halloween is fun, but it's like, just put on costumes, which is fun. But like Thanksgiving is a really nice. It's like a nice family holiday. The rest of the holidays aren't necessarily like family holidays. Like, I mean, you can go over your family's house for 4th of July or Independence Day, but you don't go over your family's house for Halloween. And you don't go over your family's house for Labor Day. Labor Day, that's like a specifically American holiday, I guess. But Thanksgiving, like, you get to spend time with your family, and you get to eat a lot of good food, and there's not all that like commercialization going on that's gone on with Christmas, where it's like all the stress of having to go out and go shopping and get stuff for people. You don't have to do that on Thanksgiving. So like Thanksgiving is Swedish food, other than like when I go to IKEA and they have the like Swedish meatball plate, which I like, which is probably not and that's probably not like, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is legit. Labor Day is pretty huge in Germany too. Is it on the same day? Like, I think in basically the rest of the country, or the rest of labor is, the day for labor is in May. It's like May 1st, May Day. But we have Labor Day 1st of May for commies. Yeah, see, we have our Labor Day on a completely different day of the year, like completely different month, like socialism. So they just do it on a different day to just disassociate themselves from that. Let's see. Yes, Rue, my internet connection in my garage is not particularly good. I'm like 50 feet away from my wireless router, which isn't super far, but I'm also on the other side of a stucco wall that has chicken wire inside of it. So the internet service in here is not so great. But I can't really work on this in my living room, so I'm out here. What I should do is get one of those like router booster things that I could put closer to the garage, because I've had problems with this before. Like when Dean and I were doing the Hack a Week cast, sometimes I want to be out here in the garage and I just wouldn't get good enough internet to do it. Though it could also just not necessarily be my wireless router today. There's a lot of people that are at home today because of the holiday, and they might be streaming movies, and so weird. Other than that, Labor Day would be the only worldwide holiday that is not religious. Yeah, people here like their religion also, so they like their religious holidays. Yeah. Could you run an Ethernet cable? Not really, because I mean I could, but I would have to run it up one wall in my living room and then across the ceiling all the way through the kitchen, and then drill a hole through the wall into the garage and then bring it out here. And that's a lot of work. And I'm renting this place, so I try not to do too many permanent things that a temporary one while streaming in your garage. Oh, I guess I could do that. Yeah, I don't have any Ethernet cables. I guess I could buy one and then just like leave it on the floor. When is Labor Day in the U.S.? Labor Day U.S. It's like in September. Labor Day 2019. In the United States, our Labor Day is September 2nd. or do it with thrift store routers on each side of the problematic wall. Yeah, that could work too. You know, I don't actually see routers at the thrift. I don't see a lot of routers, which now that you bring it up, I find kind of strange. There's always everything at the thrift store, but I have never, exactly, because May 1 is too commie. They don't want any of that here. So we don't do May Day. I mean, some people do. Usually there's like, here, at least here in Los Angeles and probably in some other cities, there's usually a demonstration. And I don't know, it's probably like 5-10 years ago, Los Angeles Police Department like came in and cracked down on the demonstration, and it was a big controversy because they like really went after those protesters, and they got in trouble. And I think that they made some reforms after that. Favorite thrift store closed? Traderama. Yeah, do I have a favorite thrift store? Yeah, I suppose so. There's a we have a bunch of thrift store chains, and so most of the thrift stores around here are chains. So there's Goodwill, and then there's Savers, which is like a for-profit thrift store, which is not like too typical. Didn't knew you could do Labor Day, not May 1. Yep, our Labor Day is in September, and it's like always regarded as like the last weekend of summer here. So like people like to go to the beach. They like to have barbecues because it's like, even though at least here in LA, like summer weather will last for another month and a half, they treat it as the end of summer, because I think in other parts of the country it really is basically the end of the summer. And there's this really dumb like fashion thing where you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day because white clothes are like summer clothes. And if you're wearing white after Labor Day, then you're wearing summer clothes and it's not summer anymore. It's really, really ridiculous, but it's a thing. Where did I put my USB cable? James, what did you like about Traderama? I know that I like the Savers that's near my house because they usually have a lot of interesting old electronics. Ha! I got it. It works. So one thing I still have to do with the code here is right now you see if I hold the switch down, it'll keep. All right, that's not right. Well, this is not working correctly. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. I wanted to only play that crunch sound once, like no matter how long the switch gets held down, so I have to rewrite my code a little bit. I suppose I need to write some edge detection code. And I always, my brain gets mixed up when I try to write edge detection code. I don't know why. Like I can never do it right. Like I always mess it up somehow. I don't know where this came from. All right, this is, all right, stop it. I don't know what's going on there. Should not keep playing. And cool stuff all the time. Hi, Ashley. I don't know if I necessarily need an interrupt. I think I can just do edge detection. I don't, like, there's nothing here that's particularly like time sensitive. How do your thrift stores work? Yeah, so most of our thrift stores, I don't know. So like the Goodwill and the Salvation Army thrift stores, those are charities and people donate stuff. There are also some for-profit thrift stores. Like you go to some of the more trendy areas, and you have for-profit thrift stores, and they also take donations. Some of them will buy stuff from you, but most of them take donations. And then there's like Savers is a for-profit thrift store. It's not a charity, and so if you buy stuff from a non-charity, like for a for-profit thrift store, then you have to pay tax on it. If you buy stuff from a non-profit thrift store, there's no tax. Salvation Army is not a charity. Is this a... Is Salvation Army not a charity? Like, is this a statement about their values, or is it like legally not a charity? Because as far as I know, like Salvation Army is legally a charity. So I don't think I've had to pay taxes buying stuff from the Salvation Army. Because they're a religious group, right? Yamaha headphones for $2. They sold for $200. Yeah, that's pretty good. I got a coat. I have this really big coat I got at not exactly a thrift store. It's like a consignment store. Yeah, it's about what it is. Yes, I agree. They have some questionable values, but nonetheless, they are classified as a charity here. So they have charity status. Even if they do have some not so great values. There's a lot of charities here that have some really bad values. Thing is, many charity shops here are unable to sell electrical goods. Yeah, that's something that I've heard, I think, in the UK, right? Like you can't, the thrift stores don't resell electronics. They do here though, which is pretty great because I get a lot of electronics from thrift stores. I have a Commodore VIC-20 I got from my local thrift store for $5, and it works. And I got the data set, like the cassette drive. I got that for another $5. Is Arduino back in fashion? I don't know. Did Arduino go out of fashion? As far as I know, like Arduino has not gone out of fashion ever. All right, I've done something to my code. Something not right here. Button state. I've done something. I screwed something up in my code. It used to just play once, and now if I click the switch, it just keeps playing. Sure, Rue. I will put that up on GitHub for you. I'll do that right now. Maybe not as popular. I mean, maybe there's like a lot of alternatives to Arduino now. Like you have the ESP32, and that's pretty popular. And you've got the Teensy, and there's certainly like a lot of Arduino knockoffs. I mean, I think the Arduino IDE is still pretty popular because you can use it on other microcontrollers. Probably CircuitPython will eat into their popularity a little bit, but no, Arduino's like still seem pretty popular to me. All right, I'm putting this up on GitHub. Sorry, my computer's rocking around because I'm tired. What do I want to call this? Crunch.ino. Okay. All right, Rue, there's the GitHub for it. I have not really played around with CircuitPython too much yet, but I have some things that run CircuitPython. And I should probably learn it. I've learned a little bit of Python. I'm not good at it, but wouldn't hurt to learn it. I also have like several ESP32 based things sitting around here now that I should play with. So crank out. Yeah, Arduino Unos are great. I like the Arduino Nanos because they are small, and if you get the knockoff ones, they're really cheap. Though Arduino's great. Like their real stuff is cool. When I got these knockoffs, I had a real like bear of a problem trying to get their I forget what they use. They use like they don't use an FTDI chip. They use something like a MP430 or MC430 or 430MC, something like that. Some other serial to UART chip, and getting that to talk to my Mac. Yeah, CH430. There you go. Getting that to talk to my Mac was super annoying. If you have a different computer, it's totally fine. But my Mac did not come with the driver, and getting it to install properly sucked. And for whatever reason, uploading sketches from my MacBook to these takes forever. Like it takes a long time to load the code, which is not the case if I use like my Ubuntu laptop. It uploads super fast. And if I use a genuine Arduino product that has an FTDI chip, it uploads super fast. But just the combination of my MacBook and these CH430 based Arduino Nanos, Chinese Arduino Nanos, like they're just really slow. Arduino is popular for HF amateur radio. Yeah, who was I talking to? I was talking to Ted Yapo last night about I think he did it on a Pi, or maybe not. Emily, does your switch go to ground? It should. Yeah, I have one side of it connected to my 5-volt rail, and I have the other side connected to, let me see here. Make sure I got this right. So I have one side connected to the 5-volt rail and the other side connected to the digital input pin, and then connected to ground through a 10K resistor. And this was working before. So I've either screwed up the circuitry while putting it together, or I screwed up the code while messing with the code. But Rue, while you're looking at it, if you have any thoughts on rewriting the code so that it only plays the audio file sample once, just once, instead of like playing it on loop, because even when it was working correctly, it would keep playing as long as I had the switch held down, and I only wanted it to play once. And I didn't spend a ton of time trying to figure that out, but I played around with it a little bit, and it was mostly screwing up the way the audio played back. Probably because I don't know how to use Mozzie correctly. Okay. I don't know if any of you follow Charles Lohr on YouTube, but he did a really cool video on broadcasting an analog TV signal using an ESP32. He had a video about like just putting out composite video with an ESP32 with color, which was pretty great. But then he did some more work and got it to broadcast. So he attached a little wire. Did he attach a wire? No, I think he used the inbuilt antenna on the ESP32, but he had to modify it. Like he had to remove a capacitor or something. And he was able to broadcast an analog TV signal from across the room with just an ESP32. To do this, you want to save the old state of the button. Yes. I don't know why, but I always have a hard time like not screwing it up when I'm trying to like write the logic to like look at the last button state and the new button state and like record the current button state. Like, I don't know. I don't know why my brain does not work well for that. It just always gets all mixed up when I try to do it. I have like dyslexia or something for coding. I'm just not very good at it. Yeah, well, while Rue looks at what I've done wrong here, for those of you who have not seen the biting teeth, I guess I'll show you the biting teeth. Where is the plug? So this is them. This is a motor I got from a friend of the family. Her husband, or, no, not her husband. Her dad, not her husband's dad. Her dad died, and he was kind of a hoarder. And she told my dad and brother and I and my mom that if we wanted anything from his garage to just take whatever we wanted. So I took a bunch of stuff, and one of the things was this cool motor, and it's a very old motor. I don't know what year it's from, but it has like a vintage of like 30s. I guess I could look up the patent number and figure it out. But it's just a little tiny gear motor. And so what I've done is I drilled a hole in this little bronze, looks like bronze gear, and then I soldered a little crank onto it, and I've got this little connecting rod going to this jaw. And so when I plug it in, let's get it down there, the motor needs to be spun by hand to get it started up, which I'm sure is not right. It starts turning, and then the teeth very slowly close. See, there you go. There they go. Closing so slowly. I think I timed it, and I think they take 55 seconds to go from open to close. And then they get all the way closed, and then they start opening again. So I don't know, really kind of silly and dumb, but Calvin Witt got me these plaster teeth from some surplus store, and I've been wanting to do something with this motor, so this is what I've done with them. And I don't know where I'm going to put the Arduino. I don't really want it like just hanging out here, because I also have to put a power supply for it. So I might cut another board that's the same size as this one and like build a little box. I don't know, maybe like this tall for all this to sit on, and put the Arduino and the power supply down inside of here, and then run the power for the motor in there too. It wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to do. I have a table saw, so I could do it, and I might do that. Maybe what, Rue? I don't know what you're maybeing me about. Yeah. I don't know what else to show you guys tonight. I have to work on the code. The electrical stuff, the electronics are basically done, and I'm very cold because the sun is down and it's quite cold, and I've got my boots on, but I'm getting cold. So I don't know. It's been an hour and a half. Should I end the stream, or do you guys want to see some more? We've got 15 people on here now. I won't subject you guys to me using the table saw because that's loud, and I can't really talk. Did the link paste? No, I did not see the link. Try again? I don't know what you did. Did you branch off of my GitHub? I don't know. Or were you linking me to some information about doing edge detection? I don't know, Rue. You're welcome, James. Have a good night. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys have some opinions on this. I kind of like the look of exposed electronics, but I don't really have a good place to put them here. So if you have an opinion about where to put them, the the Arduino would be safe, but this is the power supply I'm going to use for the Arduino. You missed it all. No, I'm still working on it. I'm at a crossroads right now. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my my next steps here. This is my power supply I'm going to use for the Arduino. This was a wall wart that I went digging in my power supply box, and I dropped the box, and everything spilled out, and the case for this one broke, and I have pieces of it all over here. Seems like part of it right there, and it puts out 10 volts when loaded, so that should power the Arduino fine. But it has 120 volts exposed mains terminals right here. So I'd kind of like to have it not exposed because I don't, people touch things. I wanted to find out if you had a dish to bring to dinner. I haven't made up my mind yet. And I have 2 Thanksgivings to go to. I have a Friendsgiving. It's like Thanksgiving with friends tomorrow. And I have to come up with a dish for that. And they asked me to bring a vegetable dish. So I got to figure that out tomorrow. And I got to figure out something for my parents' house on Saturday. I don't know. I really wanted to make this like potatoes au gratin recipe I saw, but there's already going to be mashed potatoes. So maybe I'll try mac and cheese instead. Let's see. Pastebin.debian.net. Let's see. What has Rue done here? Okay. So Rue has made me some code to maybe make this thing only crunch once per click. So I'm going to try this. Void update control. So I just need to replace my void update control section of my code here. Let's try replacing it. Let's see if it compiles. All right, so it compiles. So let's upload it and see if it works. Rue is a very smart guy, so I have a lot of confidence here. Sorry, I might sneeze right now. Liquid electrical tape. That's a good idea. I keep meaning to buy some of that because it seems handy. And I should get some. Oops, live stream. Yes, live stream. All right, is it still uploading or is it done? All right, it's done. All right, Rue, all the pressure is on you. Let's see if it works. All right, Rue, it kind of worked. It worked for the first click, but now it doesn't respond to the remaining clicks. So if I reset the Arduino, it'll probably work. Yeah, I get 1 click out of it. So first click, it'll work, and after that, it doesn't listen anymore. So something is not quite totally there in the logic. Solid copper wire, 12 gauge, maybe even power goes from ground. It looks good. Yeah, I like using. I don't usually use copper wire, but you guys have probably seen Mohit does his circuit sculpture, and I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. It's like Jiri Prouse. I'm totally gonna be like botching that. It's Jiri is his first name. And they both do really fantastic circuit sculpture stuff. And I've done that too. And I use this, this is 3/16 brass rod. And it not only looks good, but it also works as a good electrical conductor. In this case, it is not working as a conductor. It is just a structural member. But it is a fantastic conductor, and you can make some really nice sculptures out of it. All right. So... yeah, let's see, Rue. Let me look at your code. Not that I'm going to be any smarter with it than you were. So what did you do? You made static car prev button. Where is that Debian? Yeah, Ru, I don't know. I'm not the best at coding, so I kind of understand what you've done, but I don't understand it completely. And since I don't understand it completely, I don't understand what's gone wrong with it. But I am confident you'll figure it out in like a minute. Maybe it's just... Yeah, yep, we just got one crunch. One crunchy crunch. All right. Oh, God. I think the error is subtle. Not sure. Okay. If it's subtle, I'm certainly not going to figure it out. Man, I'm seeing pictures of people with their turkeys on Twitter, and they look really good, and I wish I was having turkey right now. So I don't know if any of you guys know Will Caruana. So when we were all at SuperCon, someone brought a bunch of payphones for sale, and he bought one, and he's doing a cool project right now. He's converting the payphone to run wirelessly. Projects like this, it is always the switch debounce that messes up stuff. Yeah, I could see that, but usually doesn't debounce like trigger multiple times, not like ignore triggers after the first one. It's like you just try to click once, and then like if you had a counter hooked up to it, you'd get like 20 counts instead of one because of the bouncing. Try removing trigger delay ready. Remove the trigger delay ready and. All right. So, all right, let me try moving that and see if that works. Expected. Oh, all right, I'm missing a parentheses. All right, well, it compiles and it's uploading. Let's see if it works. So how I was saying, it takes forever to upload code to these CH430 nanos. Okay, that does not work, Ru. It crunched a single time on power up, but now it ignores the switch. So I don't think that was it. I don't even know what ktriggerdelay.ready does. There's a nice software method, shifting states into an accumulator on a timer and looking for certain patterns. Works well for me, but I'm on my phone, so I can't look it up easily, I'm afraid. Yeah, there's a lot of like interesting ways to do debouncing, and I don't, like, I understand them in concept, like it, but I never understand them in practice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like so bad with logic for coding. Like, if I don't have to deal with any if statements, then like, oh yeah, I can write like code for an Arduino all day. But as soon as I have like some if statements or some switch cases, like I just get completely lost and nothing ever works right. It's part of a debounce thing that I'm not familiar with. Yeah, sure, Ben. I'd be happy to look at it. It might be instructive. As bad as I am with coding, like I am slowly learning. So the more I can read, the better. Maybe one of these days I'll become halfway competent. All right. Well, you know what? Even if so Rue, I have a question. So maybe this should be set low. Let me try it to low. Even if I can't get it right now working so that it crunches only one per click, it would be nice for it to not crunch repeatedly, because that's how it was working earlier. It would only be crunching while the switch was depressed. Oh, you know what, Rue? All right, this is great. One of my wires broke off of my switch, so maybe it wasn't a software problem at all. It probably wasn't a software problem at all. I'm gonna put this wire back on, and we'll try your code again. I think it just broke off after one after I was messing around with it. So we'll put this back on and see if it works properly. All right, let me paste your code back in while I wait for my soldering iron to heat up. I unplugged my soldering iron for some reason. I don't know why. So I have to let it warm up again. Well, let's see here. All right, let's get more solder on here. I guess that's a good lesson. Don't always assume it's your software. Don't always assume it's something. A few years ago, well, probably more than a few years ago, I was living with this older couple for free. Like, I got my rent from them for free in exchange for working on things around their house. And they wanted, at one point, they wanted me to remodel their bathroom for them. And so I remodeled their bathroom, and I put in a bunch of can lights up in the ceiling. And I went to try them. I had to go up in the attic and like redo all the wiring and everything. And when I plugged them in, like, I got them all hooked up, and I went downstairs, and I spent days. No, Rue. Wire is hooked up again, but the thing still only does one crunch per crunch per click. Anyhow, the can lights refused to work, and I spent days trying to troubleshoot what was wrong with them. Like, I was looking at all my wiring, and I went up in the attic, and I was wiring up there, and it all looked fine. And I was really frustrated trying to figure out, like, why don't any of these lights work? And just like after several days, I had like an epiphany, and I thought, wait a second. And I unscrewed one of the light bulbs, and it was burnt out. And I unscrewed the next one, and it was burnt out. And I unscrewed them all, and they were all burnt out. And what had happened was, when I was up there hooking up my wiring, I had hooked it up incorrectly the first time, and volt like legs together. So I ran 240 volts through all the lights, and it burned them all out instantly. And so, like, when I had seen my error, but I didn't see that the light them all flash and go out. So I didn't realize they were burned out. And I had spent all those days troubleshooting the wiring, and the wiring was fine. I had fixed it already, but like all the bulbs were burned out, and I had just assumed like all those were good, and I had burned them all out. So I guess the lesson is, don't ever make assumptions. Yes, Rue, shame on you. But don't feel too shamed. Like, I can't figure it out either. Wait, why did it just go off? Hang on a second. Hey, it's working. It's kind of working. What's going on here? So it's kind of working. What's going on here? It's intermittently working. I don't know why it's working sometimes. Something is afoot. What is it though? What could it be that's going on here? There is a 1.5 second delay with the keyboard debounce. The timer is set right. Maybe it might be longer. I don't know what that means. I don't know. What is a keyboard debounce? I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about in that K trigger delay set 1500 millisecond countdown? I guess I can reduce that, see if that does anything. Are you suggesting I should increase that value or that I should decrease the value? All right. So I think it's behaving the same way as it was before. It plays a sample on on startup. As soon as it boots up, it plays the sample, and then it'll play the sample after one switch press, but then it doesn't want to do it after that. All right, I'm increasing that K trigger delay to 2500. I don't know how high I should go. I don't know if that's the problem. But I'm going to try it because this is how I work when I don't know what I'm doing, is to just flail wildly and try anything. Nope, that seems to be behaving this way. All right, Davey, let me paste Rue's code into my GitHub code. And then I'll post a link to that again. All right. Okay. So here's the GitHub link again. This has the little modified debounce section from Rue, which resides in the void update control part of the code. The thing I don't understand is that earlier when I had this on the breadboard, it wasn't quite working the way I wanted it to. Like it would play the crunch multiple times while the button was pressed. But now it doesn't even want to do that. Flail wildly and try anything is how all the great engineers succeeded. Yeah. I mean, flailing wildly and trying anything is really like, it's the scientific method, isn't it? Like, it's try things until they work. It's maybe not as formal as people would like, but it's seeing if they work. So it's legit, right? All right, let me make sure none of my other wires are loose. No, they all seem fine. I guess I should use my multimeter Emily, do you think that there used to be a call to update control in loop? No, with the Mozzie library, the only thing that goes in loop is audio hook. So yeah, I have not touched void loop because it always stays exactly like that. The only thing you ever put in loop is audio hook when you're playing with the Mozzie library. And I can't say I completely understand it, but that's how it is. All right, let me get my multimeter out here and let me check and make sure the digital input pin is behaving the way it's supposed to. Okay. So that's connected to ground. And that should be connected to 5 volts, right? Yep. So we got our 5 volts there. Yes, my button is it? I don't know. Let me make sure it's on pin 4. It was on pin breadboard, but it I might have it's on pin 5. That's a good catch, Rue. I put it on the next pin over when I was when I was putting it on the perf board. Let me switch it to pin 5. God, I suck. I am just incompetent. This is the problem with live streaming, is that people realize just how terrible you are at basic doing basic things. All right, so I updated the button pin to pin 5, but now I don't get nothing. Button pin 5. Yep, it sure is on. Nope, I don't have nothing now, Rue. You know what's weird is that I'm not even getting the crunch on the startup like I was now that I changed the pin to pin 5. Visual read button pin. Okay. All right, folks, it's been 2 hours. It's really cold, and I'm kind of stuck on this thing. So I'm going to call it a night, and I hope all of you have a nice night. And for those of you celebrating, I'm going to go. Bye. If you're trying to like give me tips on this, you can just hit me up on Twitter. I'm there. Just DM me. If you follow me and I'm not following you back and you can't DM me, let me know and I will follow you back. Bye, everyone.